Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. What an interesting morning it is here. I'll get more into that in just a second, but good to see all of you. As always, this is going to help us navigate the week ahead. I do a lot of things in this reading. It's like 3 or 4 combined. We'll start with some downloads from Spirit, take a look at the next 7 days. Then we'll focus on a special topic, which today is basically helping us clear things out, clearing, cleaning, and resetting. And then if we have time, we'll do a little bit of a healing meditation at the end. If there's enough interest, feel free to help me hit that target if you'd like. So this morning has been a fascinating morning for me. I got a bunch of downloads for you, but interestingly enough, for those of you that wonder, does a medium or a psychic ever get direct hits on their own life? Absolutely. Like from Spirit. Last night I had dreams that I was stressing out with all the equipment, and I'm like, what am I worried about? Like, I do this all the time. And then I woke up this morning and the ports on my Mac weren't working. I have to take it in for repair. They're working now. That being said, Dakota has my number, and if anything kind of gives out during the reading, I have a backup in place with my phone, and we can just use the mic on the computer. We all show up here for community, but you know, I also like to keep everything professional too. So today I've got to do some repairs later this afternoon and probably get a backup machine so I can keep doing work this week. But yes, I do get messages about my own life sometimes, and sometimes you'll brush them aside, and this is a good lesson. Even when you get something that makes you think, oh, that couldn't happen, sometimes it does. So Spirit was trying to get me up earlier than I got up this morning. Anyway, it seems to be working for now, and I used to do it with just my MacBook back in 2015, so if we have to just do it with one thing, we can do it. All right, so with that to the side, let me talk about what came through from Spirit today. So let me just open this up here. There were a few things that I picked up on this morning for everybody when I wasn't stressing out about something that was about to happen. All right. I actually dictated this into my phone, so I got the words correct from Spirit. Premeditation, preoccupation, and distraction. These were the things that came through. So with the distraction piece, I think it's really important this week in particular not to let some of the noise in the world around us, the noise at work, with the kids, with the family, with yourself, with your own thoughts, kind of get in the way of your goals. The premeditation piece, actually, that can be good if you're planning. So Spirit was really trying to keep us razor focused on one thing and not allow some of the cacophony of noise that is the world at present to take us off path. And literally, that's what I saw was someone kind of like wobbling on a path or veering off the path. The other thing was, and I don't play sports, so I'm not going to even try to stretch or create metaphors, but it was about like catching a ball that was thrown to you. So pick your favorite sport. But basically, in order to have that happen, you have to keep your eye on what's going on around you. And there's a coordinated handoff between you and someone else. So it's really, really important, particularly if we're looking at a game where one player passes to another, or even like through football or soccer where people are passing it through their feet. You have to have one person initiate it, the other person receive it. And so I think that teamwork is going to play a big part, but not just teamwork, but like coordinating handoff and, you know, the delivery of whatever's going on. So really be clear on those 2 points to make sure that something isn't missed, you know, midway. And also, and I had to do it this morning really quickly as I sent frantic texts to Dakota, have a plan B. Always have a plan B. Stay organized, have a plan B, and really focus on, for whatever reason, sport metaphors were shown to me, sort of like the pitch and the receipt of it, or whatever. Again, I don't know. Pick your favorite sport, but there is those 2 different points where 2 players need to interact and make a play happen. That's what I'm seeing. Not just teamwork, but coordination and planning. And oftentimes, way before a game, you know, a coach will run through the optional plays that you might work with. So that's why you have like 1, 2, or 3 plans so that you can pivot, One thing that I was happy about this morning is because I traveled last year and had to do this remote, I was like, oh, I can use my phone. I can use a bunch of different ways to make this work. So sometimes we just have to kind of be flexible. Lean into that flexibility. That will help you out. All right. While the camera's working, let's go ahead and do the 7-day forecast. The cameras are fine. It's the connections that aren't working today. So there may be some symbolism in that as well. All right. If it's your first time here, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. I'm here every single Sunday live. I'm just about to do all of the monthly ones for April. They're going to be shorter this month. I'm going to try to have them all out by the 1st and keep them around 15 minutes so that we can get them out sooner, and then I can figure out what I want to do next with the next round just so that we can get caught up. I thought of skipping a month, but I'm like, no, let's just do them short. And then if you like them shorter, we can leave them shorter, and I can do intermittent videos as well. All right? So we're experimenting. Let's see if the Apollo cam is working. It is, for now. Apollo, buddy, thank you so much for being patient this morning. I know. He could feel my stress, and I'm sure he's like, please just chill out, Dad. Okay. Everybody, take a nice deep breath. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Actually, I think I have the wrong camera on this one too. While I'm getting everything set up, if you haven't already done so, please take a nice deep breath. Let go of any stress that you brought into this reading, things out of your control. What we're focusing on is what's coming through, not what's happening right now, okay? And one thing that I've learned over the past 6 weeks or so, because I've been working on stress management. Like today, I'm like, the show must go on. However I show up, the most important thing is I'm just here. It's not if I'm in 4K. It's am I present? So in our own lives, the same thing is true. Just be present. Be the best version of yourself possible. And don't sweat the small stuff. You can't control everything, all right? Let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters. See yourself in a circle of light so that you are protected and connected to source. Whatever shall be, shall be. All right. I am glad that I can at least use the graphics for this portion because it does help. All right, we're going to start off with the energy for today, Sunday. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So much like I was saying, it's important to regulate emotions, focus on what you can control, let go of what you can't control, and know that you're doing your best. This could also be a desire to pull back a little bit from social interactions. There may be too much activity in your life right now, and the Ace of Cups in reverse often is a little bit introspective, and it just needs to kind of do an internal audit. And by that, I mean focusing on who and what matters most. Some things you just can't control. And so I really feel like in the world at large right now, because no matter where you stand in your belief system, it's chaotic. We're in a strange world right now. So we have to focus on self-preservation, emotional sort of like well-being, and picking and choosing people and activities around you that feed, support, and lift you up. Because I want you to get into the Ace of Cups in the upright position, which is a receptive card. Like my Mac, the receivers aren't working right now, and sometimes it can be a blockage. Sometimes it can be internal emotions from the past that are coming through. Sometimes it can just be distraction, as we talked about. I was looking at a email from, I like Chani Nicholas. She's a great astrologer. We have also different stages in our lives, whether it's like your Saturn or Chiron return or whatever. So there are seasons in our own life, but there are also just like, we're going through a change of season right now. And I feel like right now, this is why you chose perfectly for today with clearing and cleaning. It's a really important time to get the cobwebs out of the corners of your mind, out of your literal apartment or house, and create a clean slate. And that's a long-winded way to say take care of yourself today. All right, let's see how the week is starting off. Monday, we have the Page of Swords in the reverse position. Listening is more important than speaking. Observing is going to yield more results than just talking. And this is true of like, oftentimes it might be easier for you, but there might be someone in your life that just tends to run their mouth. And the challenge and opportunity is to get them to slow down and listen. And sometimes even mirroring back what they've said can help them realize that it's just say, wait a second, I think we're getting off path here. This is what we talked about initially. Why don't we slow down a second and take a look at this? Or just say, wait, I think that this person needs something, let's give everybody a chance to talk at the table. If you're the facilitator, that's your challenge. If you're just a participant, you do the best that you can. In your own life, this is about listening to your instincts. I mentioned this morning, I kept getting these crazy dreams at like 2 and 3 in the morning that I couldn't get things to work here. And I thought it was just stress, but it was actually spirit saying, you're going to have tech issues. So give yourself a little extra time, listen to your instincts, meditate a little bit more than you normally would, and check your assumptions. I thought I heard this. Is that correct? Question them back, and then listen. So making sure that you're listening and others are listening. And if you notice that someone is looking at their phone and they are distracted, say, hold on a second. I just want to make sure it looks like you're dealing with a couple of things at once. Can you just focus on this right now? It's not rude to ask that, especially if there's a meeting or something. Just say, hey, everybody put your phones down, put them on Do Not Disturb. We need to get through this, and then you can get out of here. I think nowadays we get so distracted by the multiple sort of sources of chatter that we just lose things in the process. Okay. Finally, Tuesday, we see some movement, literally with the 6 of arrows or 6 of swords. This is also a card of moving on, transition. So when you have finally made your mind up, not just like, oh, maybe I'll do this. It's like, I am completely on board or I'm completely done with this. The 6 of swords can come through. Doors are closing and opening with this. In mourning, like letting go of a person, place, or thing, the 6 of swords represents that final stage where you truly are moving on. Not just ready to move on, but you're like, I'm going to put myself out there again, right? So this is a great day to set things into motion, to travel if necessary, to send something to someone. So the handoff that I talked about is very much supported by the 6 of swords. And it's also just about allowing things to flow and go in the direction that they need to, okay? Great day for movement and breakthroughs overall. As we get to the middle of the week, we have a really good card here. This is the 9 of Pentacles, a much different interpretation than you normally see. Normally there's a woman with like this partridge or really big bird. She's lavishly dressed. There's vines and fruit everywhere and a little tiny snail in the front. In this card, we see someone that is basically just really present, not rushing. That is always a part of this, but he's meditating and tuning in. The word tradition is interesting. I wouldn't normally associate it so much with the 9 of Pentacles, but there may be something in your life that brings you a sense of stability and grounding and tradition, and maybe you want to honor that. But I usually look at this card as a reminder not to rush. That little snail is taking its time. All of the vines took time and energy to kind of get to the point that they're at. He's holding an Ouroboros and a snake power, and then also like reciprocity that I'm looking at that because the snake's kind of coming in and eating itself. So it's just about making sure that you're getting what you need out of situations. Reciprocity was part of today's message too with the 4 of Pentacles, so more of that coming through at the midweek. But suffice it to say, this is a great day to negotiate because 9 of Pentacles is about as good as you can get, short of the 10 when you're trying to get something. It's a great day to finish something, particularly when we're looking at details, and also just to take your time. Don't let someone rush you. Things sometimes just have a certain amount of time that they need to cook. I don't do a lot with baking. My maternal grandmother used to, but you can't fake baking times. Sometimes, and even just like ingredients were really, they needed to be precise. Baking is kind of like a science. So think of it as that. If you take something out too soon, it just kind of collapses, or it doesn't taste good, or it's not edible. And so same sort of thing in something that you're doing in your life. If you're not quite ready to put it out there, don't, okay? Take your time. Looking at Thursday, we have 8 of Cups. And this one is really nice for what we're focusing on in the special topic, rebirth. So after you clear everything out, reset everything, Thursday is a great day to go back and see something for what it truly is. I'm going to find the traditional version of this one because it does do a better job. And it's right here. Thank you, Spirit, for that. Okay, so the 8 of Cups. Sometimes you're overdue for a break, And until you take a step back from something, you can't see it for what it truly, truly is. And this is a person that is getting some healthy distance and trying to see something for what it is. This is also saying before you make a major life-changing decision, explore all options in front of you, sit with it for at least 24 hours to make sure you feel the same tomorrow. And if you can give yourself up to a week to make a major decision, even better. This is also breaking and making cycles. So if there's something that you want to stop, it's a great time to stop. If there's something you want to start, it has a good chance of continuing. The only challenge with the Eight of Cups is someone in your life may be, it's kind of like on and off energy. Actually, what's coming through in spirit, and it's not my normal interpretation of this, but it's like a fair weather friend. So if you're going through a tough time, sometimes they just walk away and wait for it to resolve and then come back when things are good. But normally I see this as someone who has a hard time being there all the time, committing all the time. They want to be there when they want to be there. But otherwise, it's good. It's also second chances. So if it didn't work the first time, you applied to a job and you got rejected, or school, or tried something and didn't succeed. Like riding a bike, multiple returns eventually yield success. You don't know when that success will happen, but it's saying keep on keeping on and don't give up just yet, okay? Persistence will pay off on Thursday. As we take a look at the end of the week, one of my favorite, Eight of Wands reversed. This one has the helper word hearthfire. And this is where we talked about the metaphor of a team, like a sporting team. But like this is also true of friends, family, social groups in your life that bring a sense of support and camaraderie. You may need to slow down from the hustle and bustle, thus the reversal, and connect with the people around you. For those of you that are in a mentor, teacher, or leadership role, it's also about celebrating how much is done and how well people work together. Because if we expect them to constantly keep going like a machine, they burn out. So this is gratitude and community and connection all coming together. I also am looking at all of those different bows, and it's about making sure that collectively you're focused on one common goal. It's a great day for anything productive, any type of work, anything where you want to see progress. It will be heightened and leveled up by the teamwork that we talked about. This is more than two. So initially in my downloads from this morning, I saw the handoff from one player to another. Now we're looking at a team. We've gone from two to many. And so by Friday, you might have to find a way to involve the larger team. And there may be people that are trying to just work for themselves. And we got to kind of bring them all together. So community and focus being a very important piece of the end of the week. Okay. Things get exciting on Saturday. We have the blasted oak, aka the tower in the reverse position. So I read tower reversed as a chance to take a challenging situation and possibly benefit by it. And the constant metaphor that I like to refer to is, think of a surfer. They're not avoiding the wave, they're riding the wave. They're trying to get in the middle of it actually and not wipe out. And so when you see energy, which is what a wave is, moving, you can actually sometimes move with the wave and exit on your feet, right? Sometimes you wipe out, but sometimes it can work. And so if you see changes happening, the best thing to do sometimes is just lean into them and say, okay, I could have done this a lot easier, a lot faster, a lot differently, but now I just have to do it now. And much like I was doing this morning, as I was kind of freaking out a little bit with the code, I'm like, well, I could try this, I might do this. We'll figure it out. I'll show up. So just show up and do your best and ride the wave of change with the tower in the reverse position. Now, if you've hit the snooze button, figuratively speaking, too many times on something, this is the final wake-up call. This is where, like, if you're a kid, your mom pulls the blankets off and says, get up, right? So you have to deal with whatever's in front of you, even if you don't want to. From a health perspective, take whatever's going on in your mind, body, or spirit seriously. Environmentally, deal with whatever challenges might be there. Financially, it's really saying now is the time. I can't delay anymore. So take action, embrace change, and Sometimes you land on your feet, even with the Tower. The Tower, actually, hot take, no card in tarot is out to get you. Every card is there to show you something, even the Tower. We're looking at this, 6 days ahead. So it's saying if you take some action prior to now, and we'll look at it in highlights and lowlights in a moment. If you take actions today, you can probably completely avoid the Tower or transmute it into something less stressful. But all cards, Devil, Tower, and Ten of Swords included, are there to help. The Devil shows you that something's not good enough, that it's taking more than it's giving. The Tower is shaking you out of a bad habit. And the Ten of Swords is the final straw from which you can't stay in something any longer. It's like, I must move on. They're full stop moments. So something about Saturday is a full stop moment. But it can only get better from the Tower. Let's put it that way, okay? And we see a beneficial energy 1 week from today. Next Sunday, we have Queen of Pentacles, the Bear, Mama Bear energy coming through. Queen of Pentacles is great because it is one of the most, second only to Empress card, one of the best cards for creating. I would say sitting at the tarot party in the universe, we would see the Empress, the High Priestess, and the Queen of Pentacles. They are manifestors. They are nurturers. They bring abundance towards them. So anything that you want to manifest, nurture, create, or birth, this is the day to do it. And she is just as able as the other two queens at the table that I talked about, the Empress and the High Priestess. She just uses different tools. So High Priestess imagines. She can see it, she can feel it, she finds a way. The Empress, she calls people into her life to make it happen, and she owns her power, and she's also a creator. The Queen of Pentacles is resourceful, literally the Queen of Resources. So she's going to use what's around her and she can spin. Well, much like the Queen of Wands, most of the queens can do this, but she can take whatever she has and make it into something more. And all you need is one seed to grow things, right? So she can take that one seed and make many. She can take the Ace of Pentacles and make many. So this is a day to focus on one thing, see the big picture, look at the long-term path that is going to grow into something that is rich and yield many more seeds. Okay? So I see things turning around in a week's time, actually. And that final straw that was the day before helps you focus on the thing that does give back, that does nurture, that is worth your time and energy. All right, highlights and challenges in this week. I think that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are pretty much equal in their blessings. On Tuesday, things move forward. On Wednesday, you're seeing just how close you are to the finish line. And on Thursday, there's something coming around that might give you a new perspective. I think the biggest challenge of the week is Saturday. Everything else is manageable. Every other card is manageable. And then as we look at a week from today, that Mama Bear card here, she's also protecting something that she's really excited about. She's like, nobody but people that I trust and I believe are going to touch this thing that I care about, okay? So it's a good week ahead, folks. Welcome, everybody. If you enjoyed what you're seeing here, please like and subscribe. It's 100% free. It helps the channel. It makes me happy. So if you'd like to do something like a low lift that's easy, consider doing that. You can also show a little bit of love and support by following me on social media. Do it after the reading. You can give back and help us meet our goal. We're going to do healing today. I don't do a lot of healing meditations. So if we meet the target, we'll do a healing meditation, then pull a few cards. And without further delay, let's get into the next portion of this reading, which is going to be the elemental breakdown. Fire, earth, air, and water. Let's see what's in store for you. And let me see which deck I want to use for you too. Okay. Fire, earth, air, water. Pretty even split between upright and reversed. Okay, we'll start off with the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Okay, this sounds familiar. So at the beginning of the week, we had the Page of Swords. It's also reversed. So what I said, double for you. Now, there's some more things that we can talk about with the Page of Swords reversed. The whole topic for today about clearing and cleaning and resetting, I had to look at the title again, is also aptly connected to this. This is revisionary. So an upright page goes out into the world, creates, communicates, makes things happen. When she's reversed, she pauses, she listens, she reviews and revises and edits based on new information and new data. So always allow yourself to have the flexibility to change course. This is a week where you might have to review and revise and edit, okay? If you don't like something in front of you, a contract that is unfair, push it back for review and say, nah, this isn't working. I really need this, or this. Always make sure you're getting what you need. Always advocate for your worth. If someone tries to cut you off in communication, push back and say, I'm not done, or please let me finish. Or I'll listen to what you have to say, but you have to listen to me first. So this is also advocating for equity and harmony and reciprocity in speech. If you don't understand something, ask. You have the ability to get the clarity that you need, to have the stage that you deserve, and to make the necessary changes. It's a good week for you, but it is about slowing down to do those things, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. All right, moving onward to the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. You're exactly where you need to be, even if you wish you were somewhere else. The Hanged Man is a necessary pause, and the necessary pause helps you see things from a new perspective. We see a halo or a nimbus around his head, which basically represents enlightenment. And sometimes when we're forced to look at something, like you have to find your plan B when something doesn't work and you're stuck. Sometimes the plan B is better than the plan A. Sometimes when you get an extra day or two, you can look through a document, for instance, and find an error and fix it. Make use of delays to the best of your capacity. Slow down in your life in general and make sure that you're not rushing through an important moment. We are so fixated sometimes on achieving that we forget to sit in the moment when it happens. And if we focus just on the apex there, the milestone, we also forget that the building up and the coming down off of that is also beautiful. So you're exactly where you need to be. The progress is fine. Don't beat yourself up. Really just sit and think, what can I learn from where I've been, and have I looked at all the possibilities in front of me? That being said, the Hanged Man can be annoying. So if you're traveling, there may be delays. Here in the United States, there are going to be delays because of what's going on with the airports right now. So definitely give yourself extra time. In other parts of the world, there may be delays due to traffic. This can also be like shipping delays because of the war that's going on right now. Delays that were unanticipated a couple of months ago now are entering into our lives. We made appointments, we made plans, but just like the previous element, you might need to revise and look for a different way to deal with it. And just communicate why delays are happening openly to others. And if you think something's going to be late, just say it. So if you're busy at work and there's too much and you can't get something done, just say, this is going to have to wait until tomorrow. I know I said I can handle it, but this is taking more time. And if someone has a hard time with that, it really shows more about the leadership than you. Let's move on to Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We have the Empress in reverse. Take care of yourself. Slow down and nurture yourself. The Empress, as I mentioned, is one of the most powerful cards for creation. Literally, she represents birth, maternal energy, and power. But sometimes she gets burned out. The battery is on empty. This week, you have to take care of yourself, getting ample rest, eating well, exercising well, talking to someone, and just pushing back on people that are asking way, way too much of you. It's okay to say no. It's okay to push back. There could also be some power dynamics at play. Maternal energy in your life, bosses, even a bossy sibling. And the important thing here is to have good boundaries and push back on that when necessary. Let's move on to water. We have the Page of Cups coming through for you, perfectly themed. Okay, Page of Cups in the upright position, receptivity. There could be some good news coming in. There might be interest in you, friendship, love, or partnership. I talked about the handoff. This could be that. There may also be a desire to just have some fun, to create, to be more social. The Page of Cups in the upright position is really, really beneficial. You can use your passion, your excitement, your sensitivity in any aspect of your life. So get out there and have some fun. Spend some time with people that you like. Put your time and energy into creative ventures. Open your heart. It's the antithesis of like the Four of Pentacles that I was seeing coming into today. This is saying, I am who I am, and I'm just going to have a good time with it. And you can take me or leave me. So enjoy your life a little bit this week and connect with something that brings joy, whether it's a sport or a hobby or a person, whatever in your life creates that sense of your heart skipping a beat in the best possible ways. Okay. So overall, not a bad week. We have a couple of challenging cards, as we saw with the Blasted Oak and the Hanged Man, but these are delays and changes for the better. I believe in a magnanimous universe. In other words, it's here to help us, not to hurt us. We come to this planet to learn and to expand. And when we open up to see how and where we can do that, life gets easier. And when we feel hurt, which is a valuable lesson and a valuable way to learn, we don't have to sit in the hurt and in the hurtful situations. We have to learn from it, but we don't have to feel like I deserve this. I'm learning from this. You don't deserve to be in pain. Nobody does. Okay. What is Apollo doing? Oh, he's bathing in the sunlight to the side. I'm like, I can hear his noise behind me. All right, let's get into the special topic, which I really appreciate. The choice for this week, again, it's clearing, cleaning, and resetting your energy. So intermittently, I'll go back to looking at how all of these relate. In the meantime, let me select the deck of cards that I want to use, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm going to let the cards and universe decide. Lots of reversals here. The Wheel of Fortune wins. Interestingly enough, as I'm looking at this clear, clean, and reset, I feel like clearing out our finances, cleaning up how much we're kind of like taking on, and resetting sort of, these two work together. Resetting what we're putting into motion for the, we'll look again at the end of the reading, but I can already see it feels like the biggest clearing might be our responsibilities, our finances, etc. All right, anyway, let's begin. It's been a minute since I've used the Curious Travels deck, so I like this. Okay, let's begin. Actually, let me take a drink and then we'll get started. We will begin here, as always, with the catalyst. The eagle is coming through, reminding us of a few things. As a totem, eagles are fantastic. They're an apex predator. And that basically means that they're at the top of their food chain, able to get what they want. So from a manifestation perspective, you want an apex hunter because it can achieve. But what it's using is its vision and its hearing to kind of see things. Mostly we think of eagle eyes. So remember the Eight of Cups that came through, and I talked about distance providing perspective. This is absolutely connected to that. Also getting out into nature, whether it's, a sunny, rainy, snowy day, it doesn't matter. Just sometimes getting out and getting a breath of fresh air can really wake you up. When I was younger and went to school in Boston, I remember the frigid winters. There'd be like nor'easter storms that would come through that would give us like bone-chilling temperatures. And if you just stepped outside to get the mail or get a coffee, you would be awake. If you were tired or sleepy or whatever, that 5 minutes outside, I'd be like, I am awake. I'm ready to do whatever I need to. So even a blast of cold air on a very, very icy day can actually wake you up, like a cold plunge, basically, right? And sunny weather can also help because the sun just kind of helps recharge you. All the elements are your friend. Sometimes people will complain, well, it's raining outside. Rain can be beautiful. There are rainbows, the smell of petrichor, the beautiful glistening of the trees. Like if you look at any element of weather, it can be nice, right? So get outside and get a change of perspective. See a situation from a different point of view and ask someone if you need to. This can be a trusted mentor in your life. But it's showing you that you have the power, capacity, and the vision, if you trust it, to sort something out, okay? So one of the things that many of us might be dealing with right now is clearing up time, energy, and money, resources in general. So we can take it absolutely at face value, and the Wheel of Fortune is saying, my expenditure in one of those resources just isn't worth it. So budgeting, looking at, should I keep paying for this service that I'm not looking at? Should I keep putting time into this relationship where I'm the one that's giving but never receiving? And am I getting what I need from the world at large to kind of feel like the battery is on full? And if not, this is about changing up the cycle, saying no, asking for more, spending smarter, embracing the Queen of Pentacles energy that was like the mama bear, and protecting yourself more, not giving so freely on certain things. This is a cyclical card like the world, and it represents things changing. And a reversed wheel is saying, I'm trying to either turn back time, like Cher, or I'm going against the grain. There are times where that can make sense, but you can't really turn back time. You can travel into the future based on current knowledge of astrophysics and whatnot, but we can't go back as far as we know, only in memory. And there's a reason, because it doesn't really allow you to grow. If you changed everything, you wouldn't get the lesson. And sometimes we need to have the loss or the disappointment to realize, never again am I going to do that. So figure out what you're going to do next. Moving on, moving up, moving out if you need to. The Six of Swords energy that came through in the middle of the week is very much connected to this. And money, much like the seasons, comes and goes. So if you're in a point of drought, it'll eventually turn around. If you've got a lot, spend wisely, save for the future. You never know what tomorrow brings. And don't put too much weight into this. None of it goes with you. None of the money goes with you. I wish we could impart that knowledge on some people in the world that seem so connected to power and money. It won't be there in another 5 to 10 years for some of them, because it's an illusion. What does go with you to spirit is love, memories, and wisdom. We do remember, we do take the love with us, like the end of the movie of Ghost, and we do also, in the future, we can kind of take some of that knowledge and apply it again. Karma also comes with us, so clear your karma, clear your finances, clear your mind. The other stuff isn't so important. Money comes and goes. And sometimes it's not worth the stress. This is a good Nine of Swords. I love that she's putting her head in the blankets. She's like, I'm done with it. I don't want to see it anymore. So the Nine of Swords invariably is one of the least fearful cards that I see in the Suit of Swords, it's stress and it's stress management. And we can give it as much weight as we want to. And it kind of reminds me, the image in my mind is like if you ever as a kid played with a flashlight and made little like shadow monsters on the wall. It's just something blown out of proportion. That's what Spirit's kind of showing me, like a shadow monster. And when you wake up in the morning, you couldn't even create that illusion. So tomorrow is a new day. Even just this next moment, right now, it's new. So one thing that I've done as I've really started to focus on health, because I had a lot of like mind and spirit, but I had to focus on the body this year, and that's what I'm doing. So I've noticed how much meditation can change my blood pressure. So I'm meditating even more. And if I take a blood pressure reading and it's a couple points higher than I want, I just sit there and breathe and I just imagine a lower number and it's lower. Our mind manifests in our body. Thankfully, I'm fine. I'm actually, by the way, in the clear now because I'm taking care of myself. But stress plays a role in that. So you have to really focus on taking care of how much weight you give things. And sometimes it feels like a mountain. Like later today, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the computer. But like, whatever, it's one little thing. We'll figure it out. We can't is it worth a heart attack or a stroke? No, nothing is. Nothing is worth it. So breathe, rest, recalibrate, and treat tomorrow as a new day. You just have to do your best. I'm finally at a point in my life where the best is good enough, even if it isn't good enough for everyone else. So just be the best that you can, and that's enough. And if somebody doesn't like it, you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. That's it. Like, be your best, be happy, know that you did what you needed to, know that in soul review that will be enough. But you may need some help this week with stress management, so talk to a friend, talk to a counselor, meditate, exercise, and all of that will then help with sleep quality and sleep quantity. Two of Swords, deep past. I feel like some of you might have been ambling just a little bit on like what the next step looks like. We have things spelled out for us when we're little. Like you go through kindergarten through the 12th grade. You go through certain amounts of professional training or school or college or university. And then after that, good luck, you're on your own. Because you start to make up your own rules. So whether you're 20 or 120, people do live that long. Whatever age you're at, you get to kind of write the script now, and nobody can tell you but you. So the Two of Swords sometimes seems scary because nothing's spelled out. It's the universe saying, you're the boss now. And look within, look into your heart, look into your third eye, and look for a path that hasn't yet been created. Because there's an illusion that those two swords represents two paths or two choices. There's far more than that in the world. So here she is, trying to figure it out. Look here, pick another path if you need to. You can ask a question if something isn't clear. We talked about that in the elements. So if something's either purposely or accidentally ambiguous, like you read it and it doesn't make sense, or someone says something and it sounds like word salad, just say, could you break it down? Make it like that doesn't work. I need an example. This isn't clear to me. You don't have to judge it. You could just say, this isn't clear. Is there some other way that you can explain that? Okay. Research, ask, and meditate. And then ultimately realize you're going to do the best that you can and it will be good enough. Okay. Two of Cups in the reverse position. This is the handoff that I saw in spirit. So we see two snakes here intertwined. Two of Cups is a very good card. I'm going to do the traditional one on this one too. Because I actually get a warning with this reverse. It's don't get too wrapped up in someone else's drama. It's important that the two of you kind of like are able to get through this together. I see where they got the snake because we have like what looks like a caduceus there, but the snakes are actually a part of the Two of Cups. I don't think I really noticed that much. But what we see here is absolute equal energy. They're the same height. The cups are the same size. They're going to exchange energy and it's going to be equal. It's healing, even-footed. So if there's someone in your life that is somehow trying to make you feel less than or is taking more than they're giving, or just isn't in that same sort of like level-headed energy that we see there, or harmonious energy, then it's time to kind of balance out the scales a little bit there. The power of 2 can get you further. I see a great partnership, but I do see sometimes a tendency to get lost in each other. So in love situations, that can show that you need to take a step back and remember that you are two wholes, not two parts of the same whole. The heart isn't like cut into two. There are two hearts coming together. And so it's about seeing that you're working, loving, living, connecting, breathing together, but you're not one, you're two. And that's okay. It's like a cell that's been divided. So more can come from that partnership, but you don't have to dissolve yourself. I guess that's what I'm saying. Connect, cooperate, collaborate, but don't lose sense of who you are. Discernment is also part of a 2 of Cups reversed. If someone or something isn't good enough, you push back. Okay. 3 of Cups, reverse position, in the crowning position. There are invitations for some of you to social events, or there are people that want to come into your life, but I feel this sense of like, I'm tired. I'm stressed. I don't want to say yes to one more thing. Like, of course, honor that when it makes sense, but don't forget that there could be something beautiful that comes from a party, a gathering, or a connection. This is also a card that reminds you not to overindulge, overdo anything. Less is more. And so moderation is your key with the 3 of Cups in reverse. Also, there may be someone who can't give you the level of commitment that you want, because this is a card of courtship, not commitment. And it's about getting to know someone or something before signing on the dotted line and saying, I do, or I love you, or I agree, right? The other thing with the 3 of Cups is there could be an external party, family member, friend, that either is jealous or wants to kind of interject into that 2 of Cups energy that we just saw. And so boundaries are ever so important in this period of time. In the near future, we have Judgment, looking very much like the Eye of Sauron, but anyway. I like the Judgment card. The Judgment card typically represents a moment of rebirth. And I'm going to pull a traditional version of it. A couple of things are part of this. One is, are you ready to answer the call? So we have a lot of chances to do something. And then there comes a point where Spirit just comes through and says, it's kind of like that final wake up I was talking about, the alarm clock. Now is the time when it's really important and imperative to just say, okay, I'm not going to hit the snooze button. Here's your traditional Judgment card. Angel up here, or Spirit basically saying, let's do this, the horn, call to action, souls rising up from the dead. No rinsing, no repeating in this period of time. What used to work won't. And not only is it important, but it's beneficial to try something new. This Eye of Providence on this card, also like the third eye, is saying, look beyond the moment. This feels bleak. It feels like an end, but like we just saw, the best is yet to come. We often have to mourn, though, that something has come to a close. The next step is the world. So you're right on the sort of precipice of this big expansion or breakthrough or breakout. It's just a matter of seeing beyond the moment, which is a powerful statement, actually. And that's the challenge, because we have both of the blindfolded cards that have made an appearance. So this is a slightly inaccurate 8 of Swords. She's not really trapped. I guess she could back up in this one, but the illusion here might be the feeling that you are trapped. With the 8 of Swords, the person could just break those sort of, they don't even look like regular, it's not like she's handcuffed. They're very loosely tied ribbons. So she could just break that. And then it's also about taking a step in a different direction. So I call the 8 of Swords the prison of thought, because we imagine it to be, therefore it is. So in this version, which is true to Rider-Waite-Smith, she can step forward. The swords are around her, pretty much on the periphery. So that represents community, tradition, family, systems that are already in place, but they're not the only way. This isn't the only path. There's more than meets the eye. She's in the state of feeling like it's more of a block than it needs to be. And so one of the things that this is showing us is that we need to kind of look past that illusion that I can't. When you say I can't, you're really saying I won't, or you're blocking something. And can't and won't are much different. Can't is like cannot, like I am unable or incapable of doing that. So unless there's something that is absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, something that is physically, mentally, or energetically impossible, don't say can't. Try it. And then as Yoda would say, just do it. Don't try, just do it. Move beyond this sort of logic cycle that's happening with can't, won't, never. These are words that actually hurt us more than they help us in our language. So you never know what's possible until you try. And sometimes you don't realize who you are or what you can do until you're doing it. So I'm just encouraging you to step out and do. Do more than try, and get rid of some of these other thoughts that might be trapping your potential. We have the King of Wands in the environment. It could represent for many of you an agent of assistance, a helper. King of Wands is good because they're imaginative, they're resourceful, they're great leaders, but they're bossy when the card is reversed. This is very much my way or the highway. Look at him even like kicking his foot out, and he's holding the people here kind of in a manipulative way. And so for many of you, boss, teacher, landlord, friend, parent, there could be someone in your life that just, they can't keep an open heart and open mind. Limit your interactions with them. And remember all of the people-oriented cards this week, like the Eight of Wands that we saw earlier, the Two of Cups, Three of Cups. There are power in numbers, or there is power in numbers, so lean on others if you need to kind of push back on an energy like this, right? And also for those of you that are, I feel like you might be getting some of the stubborn energy from people around you or society around you. So we want to push back on that so that it doesn't hinder your growth either, okay? There may also be a need to show somebody how it can be done. The King of Wands likes to see, not hear, not read. So it's sort of like, this works because look at it over there. And also look at what I've done. You can always ask for forgiveness later with the King of Wands reversed. So just do it, show it, and then they'll be like, oh, well, okay, next time ask me. But like sometimes you just have to do it. Very much a common thread of that here. Hermit energy, one of my favorite hermit cards here, in hopes, fears, and opportunities. The hermit always carries a lantern in which lay the star, but in this particular deck, the star is already part of the hermit. So I like to remind people that the hermit is just the star in hiding sometimes. There's something really big that you're on the precipice of understanding or connecting to. It's about coming out of the shroud, the shell, and being the star that you are. The hermit reversed is saying, I've learned enough, I've done enough, I've been in this shell long enough that now it's safe. Even if I don't feel that it's safe, these two cards are very compatible. The Three of Cups reversed and the Hermit reversed. Three of Cups in reverse is like a social butterfly that doesn't want to go out in public, but when they do great. Hermit is the same thing. It's about sharing and showing your hidden gifts and skills. The universe needs a light in the dark right now. So however you can be that light in the dark, be it. The hermit can stand up against any adversary or anything using experience, knowledge, and picking their moment very wisely. There may be people in your life that you just need to not share everything with. So this is kind of like on the precipice of coming out and showing a part of themselves, particularly since judgment is just to its left. So I feel like you're getting ready for an announcement or a big shift or movement in your life. And here we go with Four of Cups energy. Four of Cups is a blessing in disguise, something hidden that you don't see. So that fourth cup is behind the individual. Someone's trying to hand it to him. Very true to form to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card where you see it floating in the air. Things may seem like they're not where they need to be, but there's a change on the horizon that's going to shift everything. You have to keep being open to it. You have to look around. The sooner you open yourself up, the better. I did a meditation this week where the person facilitating it asked a question, which was like, what is the one thing you want? What if you could ask the universe right now for something that you want? What is it? And some of us just haven't given ourselves a chance to think about that. I'd like you to think about it today and make a wish tonight to the universe. Say, I am ready for this. Another friend of mine sent me something on the same day showing like a mom dealing with kids where one said they wanted something and one said they didn't. And it was harder for her. And this is it's kind of analogous to the universe. If you only tell the universe what you don't want, it doesn't know what you want. So it'll just keep throwing things at you. If you tell it what you want and say all of this or greater, it can show up for you. So being affirmative, positive, and clear will manifest quicker than I don't want this, I want to get out of this. Okay, but like it's all in the negative, not wanting, not needing, not seeing. Let's put it into the doing, into the I am ready for this. I want this. I am this. That kind of energy will help you see the cup that's floating around your head. Don't compare yourself unfairly to others. You never know what other people are going through as well. The grass always looks greener on the other side. So this is also about very much focusing on here and now. Gratitude can change the attitude with the Four of Cups. So another way to lean into seeing things is to be grateful for all the blessings around you. Your heart starts to open. Your mind starts to open. You start to see the floating cup. Okay? It's a very manageable card, much like the Nine of Swords. It's more emotions and thoughts impeding than actual tangible blocks around you. Quickly, we will go through the expanded forecast where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll start off with health, which is your mind, your body, and your spirit. And let's see what the health card is. It's very clear and very... Oh, wait, we have two. Ooh, look at this. Okay. So one is to rest, and then we have the High Priestess behind it. So we'll talk about rest first. Clearly, some of you are exhausted. There may be too many things on your plate. You may be highly sensitive and empathic, and you're taking in the pain of the world, the pain of the people around you. There is a finite amount of that you can absorb. Let it go. Get yourself into a space and a place that gives you that sense of tranquility. It can be a bubble bath. It can be the ocean. It could be a walk. It could be dinner with friends. Whatever works for you. Give yourself that time to rest and recalibrate. So, and look in the distance. There's an eagle, right? So we have the two totems connecting. Here's your eagle. In the background, we see an eagle, and we see the sun and the moon. Balance, rest, reciprocity. The world and your health in general is what you make of it. So for all that's going on with my sort of challenges, I decided to get really keen on improving things. So more exercise, more rest, more meditation, cleaner eating. Yes, I'll take medication if I have to. But I made radical changes. And when I say radical, like blood pressure change of 50 points on the top number. And so that like an amazing shift just by deciding, nope, this isn't what I want. This isn't me. I'm not ready for this yet. The same way I've worked with healing in other parts of my body. So if you get stubborn in the best way and open to trying new things, you can shift radically your health outlook. Of course, there are some things that are done, but there are other things in the body. The body has a great way of compensating. So like when there's a brain injury, for instance, the other parts of the brain will compensate and grow, even if certain parts of the brain can't come back. So it's about the other parts of your body sometimes kicking into gear and saying, we got you. We're going to do this. We're going to get through this. Imagine that you can surprise the doctor. That's my goal every time. They're like, wow, what have you been doing? Then I know that I've been doing the right thing. Because part of it is following what they said, but part of it is meditating and healing and using my own healing hands as well. So I'm a big proponent of a blend of Eastern and Western. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. They work together, and eventually, sometimes Eastern medicine wins out, and that's my goal, is to eventually get to the point where they're like, you're fine, whatever you're doing, you don't need our intervention anymore. But until you get there, blend the two together. Standard disclaimers, I'm not a doctor. But in my own life, I found good experience blending the two. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here. From a health perspective, as I've said, stress management. Stress will find a way to manifest itself. So if you're not releasing and relieving the stress, it can be insomnia, it can be blood pressure, it can be blood sugar, it can be aches and pains, it can be a panic attack. It'll find a way, so let's not give it away. Let's instead talk it out, exercise, meditate, treat yourself. Like, was that Parks and Recreation? Treat yourself, but not like that. More like treat yourself to the kindest and most forgiving energy possible. Wheel of Fortune, too much stress over work, too much stress over money, too much stress over things that might be out of your control. Judgment. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. We look at ourselves with that critical eye that we see here and think could've, would've, should've. You're already moving into the next chapter. What is done, but what is about to happen is completely in your control and unwritten. So you focus on that instead. Judgment, wake-up call. I mentioned I had a wake-up call about 6 weeks ago. So sometimes you have to just pay attention to that wake-up call. We have our own sort of genetic predisposition for certain things, but what you do with your genetics, that's up to you. And you can decide, fine, but I'm going to do everything I can to transmute this. And I'm going to focus on the natural healing in the body. And I'll do whatever else I have to as well. Okay? Don't go overboard with drinking, caffeine, alcohol. Same thing goes for smoking. This can be too much of a good thing, or a bad thing for that matter. If you haven't gotten to an ophthalmologist or an audiologist in a long time, might be time. This is also just about advice, finding a different perspective, because there could be a person in your life that's judgmental and can't see what you want to do next. I remember when I wanted to quit my corporate job and try something new, I had a couple family members that just were like, what are you doing? Like, have you thought this through? Suffice it to say, I don't talk to those people anymore. But I was like, yeah, I do know what I'm doing. And it may not be what you did, but they were very much from the forgotten generation, which were like people that were born in the 30s and 40s, sometimes before the baby boomers. So they were very used to an old way of doing things. And I forgive them because that is just how they were taught and grown up. Taught to grow up, I should say. Okay, so just because mom, dad, grandparents want you to do things a certain way doesn't mean that that fits this world in which you live, because it is so different, so vastly different. It actually, just kind of like a sidebar thing, one thing that drives me nuts, and I've even seen it in the comments before, it's like, oh, you should stop renting and get a home. Do people know the cost of buying a home in various parts of the world right now? If you bought it at the beginning of this century, you're good. Maybe even at the last financial downturn, you're good. But parents out there that say you just need to work harder or buy a house or do that, the old ways don't work anymore. And so we have to adjust to our own understanding of the world. And sometimes parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles who you respect, they don't get it because they still live in their own bubble of the old version of the world. And they're living in a home that they own. But if you don't own one, it's hard to buy one right now. So if you're getting familial pressure to buy a house, start a family, and get a job, these things are more expensive than they used to be. Finding a job is more difficult because it's AI now. And it's like AI talking to AI. They don't get that. And so you're going to have to find your own path. That's the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords. It's not saying, well, this is just stressing me out more. It's saying, well, what if I try something different? Maybe I decide to live with a couple of roommates. Maybe I don't need to buy a home. Maybe I'm not starting a family right now. Maybe I'm going to start my own company, or I'm going to really find a different way of working so I don't have to have as stressful of a job. Maybe I'm going to move to a different state, city, country, or province so that the work there is more sustainable and my money goes further. There's a lot of different ways. It's not about fitting a mold that doesn't work for you. The mold was broken. We're making our own new mold as we speak. So family can respectively mind their business and stay on the other side of the line. And that's important. It's important to tune it out because it can cause stress. And you're not going to probably be able to get through to them with all the blindfold cards. Not right now. There needs to be more of an awakening, and it's not your job to wake them up. That's a hot take on that. So live your own best life and don't worry so much about that, okay? But I did want to push back because people say that all the time. I'm like, you're assuming a lot of things when you say just go buy a house. The down payment, the credit report, the job, the income. Can you keep up with the mortgage? It's a lot, folks. So don't feel like you have to do an old mold just because it worked for someone else. That's also the Four of Cups. It's your life. It's your life. You've got to live your life for yourself. Some of you may be yearning for partnership. Two of Cups, Three of Cups, Hermit reversed. I wish I had it. So this is, I would say, find activities in your life that kind of connect you to camaraderie. So like-minded individuals, like attracts like. This may be a moment where you just need to spend a little bit more time with volunteering or any sort of extracurricular things to kind of connect with people that you care about. And no disrespect, by the way, to people who have done it. I'm so happy for you. It's just sort of like we don't all fit. This is also, by the way, just really important for parents. It's like when you expect a kid to do a certain thing, like be a part of the religion that you're a part of, date the gender that you want them to date, do a career path that you thought that they should do. I love it when we're just more open-minded with people and children, like letting them pick and choose a little bit so that they can discover who they are. And I think part of the health message for everyone is inner discovery, pushing back on that. And it's never too late. You can be in your 50s, 60s, and 70s and reconnect with purpose, passion, and power. So at any phase or stage of life, you can have that awakening. And I really do think that's a big part of this right now is figuring out who you are and what you want. Okay? All right. I'm off my pulpit. Let's move on to wealth. Resources, life purpose, and career. We have the fish, school. So some of you, it's a school of fish. Some of you might be going back to school. Some of you are kind of finding your way out of this group energy. Recent grads, recent retirees, recently divorced or married. This can also be like a newness, like I'm a fish out of water. So give yourself a moment to align and decide. If you do want to go to school, though, this is a great card indicating that now is the time to do just that. Also, finding your tribe, your spiritual tribe, could be really, really good right now. All right, we're going to briefly break this down because consensus spoke that they liked it if I at least highlight all of these, so I will. We'll start off with those of you that are currently employed. Some of you are ready for something else. So the Two of Swords, the Eight of Swords, feeling underappreciated, not really kind of aligning with the vision of the company, and maybe just feeling like you've either hit a glass ceiling or you don't know how to navigate the current climate. So I'm just validating that for you. Decide what is next for you. Try to leave on a good note if you can with the Two and the Three of Cups, okay? And also, it just feels like you're worth more. The money isn't worth it. Something about the pay, it isn't as much as it used to be. If you're happy, but you're a little stressed, here's what I see. First of all, you do have a good capacity to partner with people. And I mentioned the handoff, the delegation being a very key component to success. One of the challenges, though, is there could be a change in management, or the company could be at a point where it's being sold, merging, or restructuring. So your ability to lean into the change can help you. Not everything is going to be exactly as you want, but I do see like this diamond in the rough energy. So make sure that you're speaking up, that you're telling your boss, your managers what it is that you want next. Ask questions because something doesn't seem clear. Ultimately, can you navigate this? Yes. I feel like changes are already underway. So if you're cool with the changes that are underway, fine. But if you're feeling stressed, stunted, or sort of disenchanted, it's time. It's time to take a step back, connect that eagle with rest and that Eight of Cups energy, and you'll get your perspective and decide if you're really ready or if you just needed a vacation. Entrepreneurs, it's time to change your approach. What was working a couple months ago isn't working as well now. Judgment is saying, I'm going to come through this, and like you have to kind of emerge as a market leader, as a disruptor. So try something different in your marketing. maybe look at a different type of product or service, prune out any energy that isn't worth it, because we want to turn the financial energy in the right direction. Ask for help if you have it, hire help if you can afford it, or limit what you're doing to create better stress management in your life. Can you exit this? Yes. Right now it seems like it's a lot, but the King of Wands is a good leadership card. The Hermit is about researching and talking to a mentor. Four of Cups, you'll get most of what you want, but not everything. So just focus on leaning into change and trying something different in this period of time. If you're job seeking, it's hard. It's hard. Two of Swords, Eight of Swords, and Judgment. One of the places that you apply to may not know what they want. So they're going through more interviews than are necessary. If you ever go to an interview and you get asked silly questions, or you feel like you're running the interview, that is kind of like a red flag, or at least an orange flag. Pay attention to that. If they ever ask you questions that are inappropriate, also a red flag. I feel like don't push it if you are up against something like that. This is also saying you can look beyond what it is that you have done. So this might be an invitation to get additional training, to take a different skill that you use and use it in a different way. So let's say you have language skills and maybe legal skills. You might lean more on the language skills and do translation or something because there's not enough legal jobs, or vice versa. So if you have a couple of skills, even if one was what you had spent 10 years or a major earning, you can also use some of the secondary skills for ancillary or part-time work that can help you in the interim. And you might need to lean on those secondary skills in this period of time, at least for a week or so until something else comes through. But pay attention to red flags. Talk to people that have worked there. I see loose lips with this Three of Cups in reverse. People will tell you the tea. Ask the person that is interviewing you, how do you like the company? What do you think is the biggest strength? Do you have anything you wish would change? Like, throw it right back at them. You can usually read through the lines of the double talk that they give you too. And if you see them go blank or panic, you know that that's something to pay attention to. If you're not getting any bites, that's why I was saying for this, it's pivoting and trying something different. Different industry, different skill set, different location. Because I do see a lack of traction right now, so you have to change it up a little bit, okay? Students, you're exactly where you need to be because we have the Fish here. The Judgment card could show that for some of you, a major or a class or maybe even a school wasn't what you wanted it to be. So you can take a step back, explore, look at transferring or look at changing the major if you need to. Sometimes we don't know why we're doing something. And so I don't know if they do these anymore, but sometimes you can enter into school with an undeclared major. That could help. Or, hot take, better option, you could take a gap year, do some internships, try some part-time jobs, see if you like something before you go into it. I did a half gap year, actually. So I graduated both my undergraduate and graduate school one semester early, which saved me money that I spent on I decided to study abroad. So I spent time in London and I worked for a big company there doing something that I realized I didn't want to do, like public relations. I thought, this isn't it. This isn't me. So I went back to grad school with a different focus. I have journalism as my undergraduate too, but I was like, no, I need to do more with new media, with film, with what I'm doing here. And I went more in that path. And only because I took 6 or 8 months off and tried something did I learn that. And it wasn't just an internship. Like, I literally just went to that job every day like it was a job for 7 months. And that told me I'm miserable on this path. I need to try something else. So as a student, sometimes you need a break. You can't just, I don't know why we expect students to know what to study until they've had a chance to get out there. I think gap years are really important. I know certain countries have them. The States don't, but create your own gap semester. I think there can be a lot from that. So yeah, I basically graduated in the winter and then did the study abroad internship exchange program in that winter to spring energy, or time of year rather, and then entered into the fall semester. So I was back on track and I gained so much from that. So make your own way if you need to. I couldn't afford So I had to kind of like figure out how to save money. And for me, it was graduating early, and I took the money and put it on that instead. So you can get resourceful if you need to. Even 6 months can be a big impact for you. Obviously, talk to your parents and your advisor and do your own soul searching, but that's one thing that I see. All right, retirees. This is always a wake-up call. Like, am I checking off everything on the list that I want to do before I exit the planet? So it just is a reality. I think even once you hit 50, you start to realize that there are fewer days ostensibly ahead than there were behind, and you want to make the most of them. So this is about not wasting precious time, energy, or thoughts on stuff that you don't like. Stress, and all the things that were expected of you. So one of the big things that I'm seeing here is, for some of you, you might decide to go back to school. You might decide to lean more into spirituality, or you might want to spend more time having fun with people, meeting with peers, meeting with younger people, finding love at a later age if you're divorced or you've lost your partner. So it's people and experiences where the focus is coming in right now. Okay, that was so not brief, but it is what it is. All right, we're looking at love now, which is romantic, platonic, friends, family, the whole spectrum. Let's see what's coming through for love. Remember who you are. I feel like that's been the theme of this reading today. So rediscovering, and there's a little fish coming in. This is a strange illustration. But yes, finding who you are. It might be a period where you want to do a little bit more reflection in relationships, because sometimes, like I said, we get lost in the relationship. Sometimes we get lost in work. Sometimes we get lost in our thoughts. And before you can see the forest for the trees, you have to stop for a second and think, wait a second, what's going on here? Where am I? What do I want to do? Not in a panicky way, but more in like a thoughtful pause. Like, if I can figure this out, I can really do something amazing with this next chapter of my life. So give yourself the time that you deserve and that you need to figure that out. Okay? All right. Let me think here. Let's break this down into 3 categories. For those of you that are currently partnered, there are challenges in feeling seen and being heard, even if it is just internally, that feeling like, do you get me? Do you really understand what I'm saying and doing? So taking time to listen. We had a lot of pages this month, or this week rather, that were reversed. So really making sure that you hear and see one another. And making sure also that if there's any major change that's going on in your life, you don't have to fix it. You just have to be there for each other. Third parties could be playing a role here. An ex, a family member, a friend that has too much to say. So you can also say thanks, but no thanks to that. What I like about the spread is that we have the 2 of Cups here, but there is this feeling of a lack of spark or a lack of passion. So it could be a chance to just spend some time together and just be with each other, even just being in the same space and watching a show or something. Also just making sure that the 2 of you are not necessarily feeling like you have to agree 100% with each other, but just holding space for, okay, I'll think about that. I hadn't thought about this. Keeping an open heart, an open mind. With judgment, you really get to decide if you're both on board for the next chapter. This is a decision that feels like it's kind of already internally been made, but you have to like trust your instincts on this. Talk it out. There's not enough talking in this spread, and not enough like together time. Okay, single and looking. Karmic energy coming through. Maybe don't look so hard. There's someone in the environment already that might be looking for you, but you're not looking for them. So a little bit of unrequited love is what I'm picking up on with a fire sign. There could also be someone just around the corner that isn't what you expected. A hermit kind of comes through and takes us by surprise. So I would say the focus right now actually should be on health and well-being, and kind of just being clear with the universe on what you're looking for. But we have a fire sign here, and we have a potential hidden sort of energy coming through. But right now it feels like it's more of an introspective period. So sometimes when you're single and looking, you're just meant to kind of like resolve some energy and be single and happy for a moment. For single and happy, good for you. There's a chance to improve your relationship with money, to manage stress a lot better, to network and make some new friends. Additionally, it feels like in this period of time, if there's something that you want to learn or do, you can absolutely kind of soak that up like a sponge. There is just this feeling of not fitting in. Some of that is internalized. You could go to a club, a restaurant, a pub, hang out with people, and they would have no idea that you're feeling like you're not a part of it. So don't feel like an outsider just because you're not as outgoing as someone else. Sometimes just showing up and being there is enough. Be yourself, okay? Destiny. It's really about forgiveness. So we have Jesus here, acts of service. When you serve, the universe serves you, but Jesus also forgives as an ascended master. Yes, service, volunteer work, it could be a great time to do that. But when I looked at this, I was like, love and forgive yourself. For some reason, it was on my algorithm the other day, Whitney Houston singing a live version of The Greatest Love of All. But it's all about loving yourself, that whole song. Yeah, she talks about the children being the future, but she's like, the greatest love of all is inside. Learning to love yourself, right? So that's the thing I think not everyone, but a lot of people have a hard time doing, because we are marketed images of unattainable perfection. So when we look in the mirror, we're like, that's not good enough. It's perfect, it's fine, it's more than enough. And so we need to stop focusing on comparison. The comparison holds you back from seeing other things. You're uniquely you, and nobody can be that. And so we need to focus more on that energy of being enough, loving yourself, and finding people that love you too in the same way. Okay. Let's do one last card to see what it is that you really need to clear, clean, and reset. Let me just make sure I got clear, clean, and reset. Okay. I really do feel like the worth, the self-worth at the center is a big part of that. But let's just get a validation. What is it in this moment in time that you need to clear, clean, or reset? Yes. Literally, I got the same card that I pulled for today. So the Four of Pentacles, protecting the heart because we're afraid of being hurt. Let's clear the idea that you're going to get hurt again or in the future. Holding on to something that isn't enough because it's there because you think, what if nothing else comes through? What if something far better than this exists? What if this is the tip of a really big iceberg? What if? Holding yourself back because you don't want to be judged. What other people think is their own business and really isn't going to, it shouldn't help or hinder you that much. You need to focus on internally thinking, what is it that I came to the planet to do? How can I be the best version of myself? And that has to be enough for me. And look at all the people around this person. They're going to take as much as they can. So having boundaries and limits in this new season. We just got into spring, so I guess it would be fall in the southern hemisphere. But either way, it's about kind of like releasing the old way of doing things and opening up to a change and asking for more if you need more. Okay? So for whatever reason, Spirit really loves that Four of Pentacles, and we're going to keep getting it. I forget what we got last week, but sometimes it's kind of hammered in my head until we get our message that we need to get. So I didn't give you a chance today to vote because I felt called to do a different type of bonus. So thank you to everybody that helped me meet the bonus today. I'll give some gratitude at the end. I want to do 2 parts. We're actually going to do some healing today, which we don't always do. And we'll do that through meditation. But why don't we pull a few cards to see what it is that we need to heal and clear. All right, let me drink a little water and then we'll get into this. Okay, so first up, we have Page of Wands energy coming through in the reverse position. And for some of you, there is this, it's like an internal question. can I do it? That's what I get with this, because Wands is about creation, right? Innovation, imagination, creation. It's not just sort of, unless we're looking at the king and the queen, where it's more bossy. It's more about ideas springing forth. I love that she's throwing the wand out into the air and saying, let's do it. She's casting a spell on this sort of thing. But because we forget wands are magic, like a magician, right? So with this in reverse, there's doubt. Is this idea good enough? Am I capable enough? Am I good enough? Can this happen? Etc., etc. It's all of this. What if this happens? What if that happens? So really allowing yourself to feel that you are capable, worthy, and enough to create. Full stop. Whatever it is that you want to create. Let's get an oracle card on that and see how we can resolve it. Okay, the tree in the reverse position. I think of like Ten of Pentacles energy on this one. So I do feel like this is familial, family tree. I also think for some of you, this is about wanting something to happen too quickly. Trees take centuries to actually reach their full height. So if you're working on something new, planting a seed, give it time. Give it days, weeks, months, maybe even a year for it to fully come to fruition. Just like the Wheel of Fortune, it might take the 4 seasons for this to happen. Some of you feel uprooted. You maybe just made a major change in your life. The same thing holds true here. As someone who used to have a patio with beautiful plants that I would propagate, propagation takes time. So if you cut like a little branch off a tree and put the clipping into soil or a sprouting medium, it often takes time for those roots to grow. Then you have to put them into their final medium and water them and be careful with them and gentle with them. It takes time for them to actually then establish. And so sometimes it takes a full year before you'll get a bloom. Like let's say it's a plumeria cutting. You may just get roots and leaves as it's recharging and reestablishing itself. If you just made a major shift in your life, let your roots take hold. Give yourself ample time for everything to sort of settle, for the dust to settle, okay? Let's see if there's anything emotionally that's coming through right now. Okay, so we got the King of Pentacles in the reverse position. So for some of you, there are people in your life, past and present, that take a lot and want a lot, and it's never enough. So you don't need to do anything else to please them. The only enough that matters is are you enough for yourself? This can be paternal, it can be a boss, it can just be someone who constantly demands more. I had a friend in school that would get criticism if they got like a 92% instead of a 99 or 100. Like, why didn't you get an A plus? Why is it just an A or an A minus? And I thought to myself, it's an A. It's amazing. Like, don't push someone that hard that's that young. My parents were not like that. But like sometimes you're around people who are competitive or push too hard and you need to push back. There are also people around you that will take your time, energy, and money too freely. And so sometimes you have to just say, the bank is closed. You have to kind of cut it off. This is also a reminder for yourself not to replace one thing with another. So alcohol, food, exercise, work, sex, they can all fill a void that they don't need to. And the King of Pentacles in reverse overindulges in any vice. Gambling, because it's money, like whatever it is that fills the void. But what you have to really do is look at what's going on within. Why am I doing all of this? What am I trying to fill up or block myself from feeling? And then I need to deal with that. And so for that, you often do need to talk to someone because it's not always easy to see those things. So talking to a therapist, talking to a friend, talking to an objective third party could absolutely help. The other thing here, so many reversals, but it's okay. With the coffin, to me, this is just something that has come to pass. So when you're finally ready to let go of a person, place, or an addiction, then you're ready. Then you're on your way to sobriety, happiness, clarity, renewal. But you have to hit that energy of rock bottom or absolute clarity. We are done. No more. Never again. And then you close the chapter. So getting to that point is important for many of you. Or if you're there, embracing that point. What's something positive that you could focus on in this moment in time? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's always funny when the cards just keep showing up in the same position. Okay, so the wheel here is important. So isn't there an ABBA song that's like, take a chance? With like, take a chance? So that's what this is. That's what's going through my mind right now when I'm seeing this, because she has the 2 dice, she has the chips, and this is about making sure that you can take a chance on yourself and trust in your own ability, building up self-confidence. We haven't pulled it, but the elephant in the room, the card that is looming, is the 5 of Pentacles. A wound from either the recent or distant past where you were somehow taught that you weren't enough. So worth is subjective. Worthiness is subjective. And so someone that doesn't see worth in you, that's just their opinion. We need to think more on a sort of like heart and soul level. What you're like, I'd like you to think of some good things that you're bringing into the world. Whether it's I'm a good friend, or I'm a good parent, or I'm a hard worker, or I recycle, I don't care. It can be as small as that, or as big as, I dedicate my time to this cause. Think about some things that you're doing well and think, that brings value. That makes me worthy. What else can I do to feel a sense of fulfillment from within? What fills me up and makes me feel good about how I'm making an impact? And I do think that this is, so if we look at someone in their first quarter of life, 0 to 25, it's really focusing on meeting other people's expectations. 25 to 50, it's like earning and learning. 50 to 75, that's when you hit a sweet spot, and it's like knowing and growing and helping others. And then 75 plus to whatever the capacity is, it's really like experiences, legacy, transmission of knowledge to others. It starts in the 50 to 75, but it really kicks off in the 75 plus. And so what we have to start doing is getting into the mindset of 50 to 100, because that's where the power happens. We put all of the attention on the youth in modern world, 0 to 25 or 0 to 50, but it's really like 50 to 100 plus where the magic happens, because you've lived long enough to understand what's going on. You've been through a lot. You know what matters and what doesn't, and you start to shift your perspective, and you realize that you've got to make the most of it. So don't spin the wheel of fortune constantly on things like youth and money and power. They are illusions, and they're not the true worth of the wheel. The wheel of fortune is actually like being able to gain and share something from the however long we're on the planet. We're not guaranteed anything. It could be a day, it could be 100, it could be 100 years. But like whatever you have, like make the most of it every day. Get something of value every day. Share a little bit, and then leave a little bit for the next generation. I feel like we focus so much on the money, so much on the job, so much on the status. It doesn't matter. We're just in a weird pendulum moment where that's center stage. So you can be bankrupt but rich. You can be rich but completely a mess. So let's make sure that we're looking beyond this. I need a drink. Hold on. This is your chance to recalibrate what you value and what you put your time and energy into. Okay? So whatever stage or phase you're at, let's say you are in the younger phase, if you gain, this is when you want to talk to the elders around you. If you can gain the wisdom of the people around you, you don't have to repeat some of the sort of things that they went through. You can achieve so much. So let's just kind of lean into our wise old soul, because we've all been on this planet before. If you're tuning into this broadcast, I guarantee you you've been reincarnated a few times. You've done it before, you can do it again. You're going to be able to lean into the wisdom of your soul. So let's start going, because we are more ancient than our ages on this planet. We're millennia old. That's why there's like ages stuff doesn't make any sense, because you are so much wiser than your years. Meditate, breathe, and think today about whatever problem's in front of you, and just allow the solution to come through. You'll feel it, you'll see it, you'll know it. And now we're going to meditate. We're going to take a little bit more time in the meditation to heal. We don't always do this, but we're going to work a little bit with pranic energy to heal the body. And then after this, we will look at a final card and wrap up for today. It's a little longer, but it's okay. I'm just grateful that the equipment lasted. Hopefully my computer isn't broken and I don't have to buy a new one. But if I do, it is what it is. So we're going to clear out all the energy. Take a nice deep breath. Really breathe it in, not a shallow breath. Exhale. I'd like you to do a few of those for me while I talk. As you breathe in, imagine that you are outside, the sun is directly overhead, and you can imagine that the little light particles are almost like diamonds. And you breathe that sort of energy around your body, breathe it into your heart, your soul, your lungs, and you imagine on the exhale that you ignite each and every cell into this luminous state that wasn't there before. Plant your feet on the grounds if you haven't already, and imagine that you're connecting with the inner stardust that comprises each of us. We are everything on this planet, plants, animals, everything, heavy metals. It all comes from one or more stars that went supernova and created heavy metals and other elements. So we are star stuff. Lean into the ancient experience back before there was life as we know it, when it was just stars in the sky. No planets, no moons, just stars. Only light, as far as the eyes could imagine. See whatever situation in your life feels cloudy, feels dark, feels murky, and imagine with the light of 1 billion trillion suns, you could shine energy into it and dissolve it, or see it for what it truly is. Because together here we have that capacity of illumination. And now with all the wisdom of all the lives on all the planets and all the incarnations and all the dimensions that you might possess, know in this moment that you have the capacity to walk through the path in front of you with grace, with abundance, with dignity. And that indeed you are very worthy, that you are very regal, that you just forgot, because that's what happens with reincarnation. We come through as a child and we forget our power, but you remember today, at least for this meditation, you're remembering your divinity. Connect with the wisest, deepest, kindest part of yourself, which is your heart. Place your hands on your heart. Maybe feel the beating of your heart. Feel the light that we've awakened within the heart. Imagine that as you take at least 7 breaths for each of the energy systems in your body, each of the energy points, that you start to awaken power, imagination, curiosity, capacity, all of the things that you've always had within you. Placing your feet on the ground, hands on your heart. Imagine that your feet are like 2 roots of a tree connecting you to the planet, and know that within our planet we have a molten core that is like a sun with its heat. So there's heat beneath you, there's power in this planet, the sun is above you. Imagine now that your feet and your crown chakra are connecting to those 2 sources of power. And as you breathe, the energy moves from the crown and the feet, the root chakra, to the second and the sixth chakra, so your third eye and your solar plexus, and they work their way down all the way to the heart. And there's this blast of energy in there. And if you were feeling tired, stressed, burned out, sad, uncertain, lost before this reading, it's dissipating now. With each breath that you take, there's a sense of possibility. Use the phrase, what if or why not, in a playful and creative way. What if I do this? Why can't I do this? What if it all works out? Putting a positive question to the universe. And then put a statement. What is it that you want? Think of one thing that you want. And imagine that you could reach out, connect with Source, place another hand on the heart, and feel that it's starting to connect, that you're making a connection. I'd like you to hold it here for about a minute and breathe. Feel the energy moving through your hands to your heart and through every cell in your body, healing and releasing any of the feelings of inadequacy that we saw in today's reading. When you're ready, take a deep breath, come back into your body. If your consciousness seemed to drift a bit, imagine that there is a feather that carries that consciousness that gently enters into your crown chakra. As you take the next breath, imagine that your subtle body snaps into your physical body, taking with it the wisdom, the power, the energy, the insight that we've all been collecting over this meditation. Okay. On the next natural exhale, I'd like you to open your eyes. If you have one final question, now is the time to ask that question. Okay. For a yes or no, it's a yes. The 9 of Wands, though, represents fatigue that comes through hard work. A lot of times this has a bandage on the forehead, and it can represent mental fatigue. So meditating, resting, recalibrating like we just did, but maybe like times 10 minutes. If you could meditate for 10 minutes, you can do it while you're taking a shower. You could do it while you're brushing your teeth. You can do it outside. I don't care. But like give yourself 10 minutes and just really feel like you're slowing your thoughts down. You can listen to this if you want to. But slow your thoughts down, calm yourself, and then finish what you've started. 9 of Wands in reverse has a tendency to want to give up sometimes, but it's so close to the finish line. So don't stop until you're finished, but give yourself a little break in the middle. The other thing with this is if you have to fight something, you have a good chance of achieving your goal. There may be people around you that are trying to be pushy or getting you to do something that you don't want to do. Push back on that. You have the power, the wherewithal, and the capacity to accomplish your goals. Okay? That, my friends, is everything for today. Thank you for a powerful reading. Thank you, Spirit World, for letting my computer work for this because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. And I'd like to take a couple of moments here, first of all, just to celebrate that we got through this and to offer some gratitude for everybody that showed up today and made this all possible. So everybody, by the way, before we go into just saying thank you and like roll call, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. You can also give me a follow on social media where it's my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all major platforms. You can find all the official links on my website, which is nicholasashbaugh.com. From there, you can also give back through PayPal. You can book a private reading with me if you'd like. We can do meditations. I can read for you on that. You know, you can pick what you want on that. You can also, like many of you have already done, give back with super stickers and super chat. Okay, so back to gratitude. I'd like to call out some people who helped us meet our goal today, and anybody that celebrated an anniversary, etc. I'll be doing that right now. So thank you to the following people. Blues Capolite? I'm just going to say Blue. Blues, thank you so much for your sticker and membership. Colette, thank you for sticker membership and for so much participation today. Pauses and Passages, thanks for your sticker. Ann Walk, good to see you again. Thank you for your sticker and membership. Casey in Bloom, thank you for your sticker. I always see the same people each week, and I'm very grateful for that, so thank you. Colette, thank you again for the sticker and membership. KLUO20, thank you. I think they said they had to leave early. Thank you for your sticker. Shannon, thank you so much for your sticker. Cheryl, pardon me. Thank you for a sticker and for being a member for a while. I appreciate that. Thank you for another sticker, and I'm glad you like the healing. Falcon, thank you very much for your sticker. Blue, thanks again. Good to see you. Multiple stickers here. Colette, thank you again. I appreciate that. Catherine, thank you for the vibes sticker. Much appreciated. Sugar Shaker or something like that. I can't see the rest of it. Thank you so much for being a longtime member and for the sticker and for being number 3 in speaking today. I appreciate that. Ellie, thank you so much for your membership. Welcome. You're brand new. I see the hand there. Nikki Colvin, thanks for the hype sticker. Much appreciated. QZ422, thanks for the sticker. Sugar, thank you again for the multiple stickers and again for the membership and for contributing. Colette, thank you again. Shelly Williams, thank you very much for your sticker and membership. Sugar, thank you again. I appreciate it. And Colette, thank you again. Anwalk, thank you again. Yolanda, thank you so much for your sticker. Sugar, thanks again. Colette, thanks again. Sugar Shaker, thank you again. And yeah, I also appreciate Dakota helping out today. Colette, thank you again. Sugar, honestly, thanks to Colette and Sugar and the people that gave multiple times for allowing us to get that deep meditation. Colette and Sugar again. I see a trend here. Colette and Sugar again. We can really thank them for the meditation. Catherine, thank you for the vibe sticker. Rafaela, thank you for being a member and for giving a sticker today. Jean Foley, thank you so much for your sticker. Jackie DeVilliers, thank you so much for your sticker and membership. You've been a member for a long time. You have a little gem in the center of that. So that's all like a couple of years. Thank you so much. Jeannie X, thank you so much for your sticker. I see you every week. I appreciate you. Jackie, thank you again for 60 months. There it is. I'm like, that's been a few years. Where did the time go? That's a long time. Very happy that you've made it here today. Created by Deanne. Thanks for the sticker. Let's see. Donna D. Thank you so much for your sticker and for being a longtime member. And Ace, thanks for the sticker. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dakota, for listening to my text this morning as I was getting everything set up. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. The next round of monthly ones will be coming out. They are going to be shorter, but nonetheless potent. Look at how much I can pack into a minute or two for my dailies. That's what's inspiring me to approach them differently. Everybody's rushed. Everybody has a lot going on. I'd rather get them out on time. And then we can do more live streams, which I actually like. So let's get this next round out. Let's see how you like them. Be patient. Be open-minded. That's what I would ask. And we'll just take it one step at a time. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. Apollo is in the other room, so we're going to let him be. From my heart to yours, everybody, have a great day. Lots of love and light. I'll see you again. Same time, same place. Until then, be well.